Hello there, healthy, happy, hot. This is week 4 video, lower body with bands. This is video number 2, where we're going to do lower body if all you have available to you is a bands. Remember, with all these exercises that I provide you guys, I just tried to provide you some different things and variations based on what kind of different equipment you might have available. You can use the 9 exercises that I provide, all bands verbatim, go through your workout, but you can also mix and match all these guys according to, just to make it interesting for you, how much you like to have different changes. It's really up to you how you put them all together, and or you can follow this one word for word, okay? So the first one is resistance band clamshells, okay? This is primarily a hip exercise. I'm going to use, well, you can use an O-ring like this. This is spree tubing, okay? There's an option. I think this is Champion brand, but there's also bands that are more like this. I'm going to actually use this one today. So I'm going to be laying on my side, get back where you guys can see me. And whenever you're laying on the side doing these exercises, you can either be lying down flat on your arm. I'm actually going to bring this up over the top of my knees. Okay. Now on my knee, you never want to have any like bands around your knees and be hard on the knee, but just up around my thighs, just above the knee. Okay, so I'm laying down. In the position here, you guys have 2 options. You can lay down flat on your arm, or you can be up on your elbow. I'm going to stay up on my elbow just so I can see the camera and make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. But the key with this, again, I said it in the last video, don't let yourself sink into that shoulder if you're laying on your side and staying upright. You want to stay actually upright. I hope you guys can see that. This dark sweatshirt is not good. Okay, so my feet are together, okay? And you can see the position that I'm in, guys. I have bent legs. And the key to this is going to be pulling up, keeping the feet together. So where am I feeling that? Right here in this outer hip and glute, okay? And back down, bring the knees together, up, and back down. I'm going to show it from one other angle. Okay, so that's a clamshell. These are great for outer hip. I want you guys to see it here too so you can see the angle. Here's my tissue. My black pants against the black carpet is hard to see. So I'm just relaxed here. Feet are together. Can you guys see that? Here's the position that they're in. They're always together. Down on the floor, and I'm bringing just the knee up and down. And you can see when I'm doing that, I'm not rocking my body back. I'm staying up on that shoulder and staying upright. So up and down. Squeeze up for 2, down for 2, for 2, down for 2. Clamshells, there you go, guys. All right, the next exercise with some form of resistance band is deadlifts. Deadlifts. I sent you guys, there's in this latest group, there was an article on deadlifts and what a great exercise they are. So deadlifts are normally an exercise where you're lifting pretty heavy weight. So if you hear deadlifts, think heavier weight, okay? The reason that we can use heavier weight with deadlifts is because what we're working basically is the whole backside, glutes and hamstrings, which are pretty strong muscles, okay? So I'm going to use my red band, which is my highest resistance. And because deadlifts are, I'm moving my way back, stepping on my band, that's actually not wise to do. Because deadlifts are a fairly heavy weight, this actually for me, here's your deadlift, you can see is not going to be enough resistance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cinch up on it, make it so it's pretty tight. So by the time I'm pulling up, there's some pretty good resistance, okay? And a deadlift motion is basically straight down. My knees are not locked, but my knees are not bent at the same time. This is a straight leg deadlift. There are options where you're a little bit more bent, okay? So I go straight down, keeping the hands close to my shins and back up. And as I'm coming back up, guys, I'm using my glutes and my hamstrings. That's what's engaging. So I'm going to move to the side here so you can see it. My glutes and my hamstrings are doing the work, not my back, not my lower back. Do not use your back. So you can see as I go down, straight down, close. I'm looking straight down in front of me, and then pull up. And I'm flexing those glutes, hamstrings, are what I want to use to pull me back up. You really have to put your mind in the muscle on these deadlifts, guys. Straight down, straight back up. And keep that neck and spine in alignment the entire time, okay? La la la, resistance band glute bridges. So we just did glute bridges with no weight. Basically what happens with when you're using bands to do glute bridges, it's just a way to add more resistance. So you could use the long band that I just used. You'd really have to cinch up on it to make it work. I'm going to use a figure 8 to put it across me, I think. This is a fairly new band, so it's really, really tight, even though it's only a green. So we'll see if this works. But basically what's happening is I'm going to keep my hands down where I would on a glute bridge. Make sure you guys can see me, but I'm taking this figure 8 and I'm strapping it across my hips. Okay, so flat back. What's going to happen is my hands are going to stay down on the ground, and I'm going to do those squeeze and press. But now I've got resistance because that band is strapped down across the top of me. Okay, so up for 2, down for 2. Try to keep those hands flat against the ground. And quite honestly, that's giving me a little bit of a tricep to hold that down, to keep it engaged. I'm really having to engage my triceps, so a little added upper body for you on that one. Okay, resistance band glute kickbacks. We did donkey kicks in the no weight video. This is similar, but it's a slight variation, okay? So they are using in the video, in what I gave you guys, the PDF sheet, I'm sorry, that I'm taking these exercises from, they're using a long band. That's an option. You can also do it with a figure 8. So let me see. Maybe I'll make a big mistake and you guys will see it and then I'm doing that. How they're showing it, guys, is with one foot underneath. So you basically have it in the arch of your foot. Okay, I've got an arm in each, or a handle in each hand. Okay, and I'm going to get my heart back enough so you guys can see me. And then what's happening is actually, so this is my front foot. I'm going to go down, and they're down on their elbows, but you're going to have to keep this in that arch. It's kind of a hard position to get into because you have to keep the band flexed, okay? So even in this position right here, I've got tension on the band, okay? So you could stay here if you want. They actually show it on the PDF file as being down on your elbows. That's an option as well. The difference on the donkey kick that I did earlier with no weights was that, you remember I kept my spine in alignment, but this has us at a little bit at an angle. So what's going to happen is I'm going to kick up, and you can see I'm actually raising that foot up in the air further on this one. Keep your hands in place, hang on tight, bring it back down, and then squeeze up, back down. So 2, 2, up for 2, down for 2. This is the motion here, guys. Up for 2, down for 2. So with that one, you're going to do 10 on each side, on each leg. And that's your one set of 10 reps on each side, each leg. And that's the amount of reps you do for the first exercise. Remember, you add 10 reps of each of the next 2 exercises, 3 sets of that. So look to that Healthy, Happy, and Hot template if you're wondering how to put this all together, okay? Resistance band lying leg extension. This is a quad, where that last one was hamstring and glute. This is going to do your opposing muscle, which is your quadricep. This is an interesting one, not one that I have normally used. But again, you can use the long band, but the reason I'm hesitating on this one is because you're really going to have to cinch up on that band to really make this work. The quadricep muscle on the front part of your leg here is an incredibly strong muscle. So, lying back, you're going to pull your knee into your chest, and you're really going to have to cinch up, guys. So you can see how much I've cinched up. In fact, I'm almost going to grab all the way up to my foot. Obviously, that'll vary on your strength level, okay? So, holding my hands in place, keeping my arms in place, knee back, I'm going to actually pull out straight leg, and then allow it to go back to that knee. So push out. I said pull out, I meant push out. Push and back down. Push and back down. I'm using my quadricep, and I'm actually even feeling it a bit in my hamstring and glute. Push out and back down. So this simulates, you guys, and again, you do 10 on each side. There's squat presses that you can do with machines at the gym where you're lying back or sitting back and doing that push forward motion. This is a simulation of that. It's not nearly as intense, just so you know. You can do much more intensity on a squat press machine, which is offered on some of the other PDF tabs for home and gym workouts. But this is a good variation and option, and it really gives you the opportunity with bands to really modify according to ability level. So you can grab and put more tension on the band. You can choose a band that has less resistance. There's a lot of factors that can allow you to make this easier or harder, okay? Next exercise, resistance band side steps. So these are one of my favorite exercises. And actually, I think I told you guys that, I know I told you, that I had sits bones, my sits bones, where my glute means my hamstring. I'd done some sort of damage at some point and had an injury there that eventually caused me to have really sore hips. This is over many years. And this particular exercise that I'm about to show you is one that I used in the rehabilitation of that, and continues to be one that I use on a regular basis. So basically, this band doesn't have a lot of resistance, so I recommend having a little bit more resistance than this. Another option is this O-ring. In fact, I'm going to use the O-ring to demonstrate it because it's got a little bit more resistance. So you can see just this is much more tension than this is. These are a little bit more comfortable on the legs, quite honestly, because they don't have the bumps and the handles and stuff, but they're just not quite as much tension. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this around my ankles. You can see I'm stepping into it. I try to line up, my handles are soft on mine. If yours are hard, you'll definitely want to line it up so the handles are not up against your ankle. In my case, they are soft, so I put the handles right on my ankle. I don't have a big space here, guys, so I'm going to show you what these look like to go back and forth, but you can do 10 of these squats walking down one direction and then 10 back, which is what I'll do when I'm at the gym where I have a lot more space. Here at home, I just step back and forth. They're basically like toe taps so that I can work with the space that I have. So feet are a little bit more than shoulder width apart. There is actually tension on the band even when I'm standing here as I am right now. I'm going to sit back into that squat position. Again, you guys, that squat position, you sit back, your knees you don't want them out over your toes. You can see right there, my toes came up and I kind of rocked back. That's a really good sign that you're in proper position, because that means you're putting all that tension back into your heels and you're sitting back to the point that you almost fall backwards, okay? So I'm here, so you guys can see it from the side. Basically what I'm going to do, I have enough to do like 2 each direction, so I'm going to stretch it, which when I stretch it, I feel that tension. Ooh, there we go. Step together, don't step all the way together, still keep tension, make sure you're sitting back. I came forward a little bit right there. And then step again. And check your form constantly, guys, so make sure every once in a while you sit back, okay? So here, here, and then back. I want you to do this 10 times to each side. This is a burner. Okay, I feel it already, and I always do. No matter how much I do these, they never really get easier. Okay, the way to make it easier is to get a band that has just a little bit less tension. Okay, so those things will rock your hips and your glutes and your quads. Work so much of your lower body all at once. They're beautiful. Okay, resistance band squats, and then a resistance band squat press. So I'll show you these all in one. These are 2 separate exercises. You can put them back to back like I have here, or you might want to move one of them up into one of the other rounds so you're not doing them back to back, but squats kind of work the entire leg. So pick your resistance band. I will say when you add in the squat press, you may want to go to a lower resistance, because as you're going to see, we'll move to much more tension on the band and raising it up above your head. So you're adding an upper body, which is going to turn it into a little bit of a cardio workout. So I'll probably get out of breath. Okay, so resistance band squats. I've got my long resistance band. Step into it. I'm about shoulder width apart. Make sure you got kind of similar tension on each side. You can move your feet around, adjust that. The other thing too is if you want to make it easier, I kind of step in again to make the tension the tightest right here between my feet, which means these aren't quite as, there isn't quite as much tension on this outer portion, so it makes it just a tiny bit easier, okay? So basically for squats with the resistance band, you bring your hands up to your shoulders, the band's behind my arms, bring it right up here, just sort of rest. This should be fairly comfortable for you, okay? This shouldn't be real hard. And then you're gonna do the squats just like we just talked about. Sit down, okay? And then come up. Sit down and come up. So I'm gonna show this, guys. I'm gonna turn with it still with tension. I don't recommend moving around a lot when you have tension on the bands like that. I'm just doing it so you can see it from both angles, okay? So we're here. I'm sitting back, coming down, and squeezing up. Sit back. All this is doing, same squat exercise, just adding more tension, making it more intense. There are not a huge variation of lower body exercises to do with resistance bands, but there's tons of variations of squats. Another one that you could do is, well, actually, let me show you this with an overhead press. This will be tough for me because this is a pretty new band and it's pretty tight, and you're going to see how much more tension gets added here. So we're doing the squat that we just did, but we're doing it with a press. So what happens is you're in the same position right here. You do the squat, but as you come up and over, okay? So down, up and over. That's the only addition on that one, okay? Makes it much more intense. Okay, guys, actually on your PDF file, the software that I used to create these, there were limited lower body exercises offered with the band, but just to give you a couple other options, you could do, I'm going to give you two other options, okay? To add in for that 9th exercise. One would be where you do lunges with no step back. Okay, so you're bringing it up behind you just like this, and you're just going straight down, straight up. So when we had no weights, I showed how you'd step forward or you'd step back. This one is stationary. You stay right where you're at. So I've got my right leg forward, and I'm going to go straight down, straight up. Make sure those 90-degree angles are on the leg. My knee doesn't come out over my toe. Straight down, straight up. Squeeze that glute. Okay, so there's lunges you can do with resistance bands. And then another one I'm going to show you is, oh my gosh, the name is escaping me. But basically, it's squats for your inner thighs. So you guys need to be able to see my feet. If a normal squat is here, in this particular squat, I want to call it a goblet squat because normally I'd be holding a kettlebell doing this. But basically, it's just for your inner thighs. My stance goes a little wider, but I'm still stepping on the band, okay? And I've got my feet out to about a 45-degree angle now. So that, bring it up to my shoulders. What happens here is I change it from quads to inner thighs, okay? So I go down, knees over the toes, don't let them come out over, and up. You might need to make your stance a little wider. Then bring it down and up. And I'm just using that resistance band to add a little tension. So these last two exercises, the lunges and the inner thigh squats, are not actually on the PDF file, but you can add one or both if you want to be really want to go for it into that 9th exercise slot, okay? So there you go, guys. There's a lower body workout modifications. Always, please post in the group if you have questions. Send me an email if you have specific questions, if something's not working for you. Take a video of yourself doing the exercise, send it to me, and I can give you some really good tips as well if something's not quite feeling right or you're uncomfortable, you don't feel like you quite got it. I'm happy to help. So that's it for today. Thanks, guys. Bye.